I'm a 34-year-old woman who has been married to my husband, a 38-year-old mechanic, for 16 years. I truly love him. We have built a life together filled with shared memories, laughter, and challenges. However, our past holds a painful chapter that refuses to stay closed. Years ago, before we got married, my husband was unfaithful. He had an affair with his stepsister. The betrayal was devastating. When I found out, I was heartbroken and left him. We eventually went to counseling, and through a lot of work and tears, we managed to rebuild our relationship. I thought we had moved past it, that we had overcome that dark period. But recently, something triggered all those old feelings. I watched a movie where a similar situation played out, and it brought everything flooding back. Couldn't shake the feeling that maybe he was cheating again. The thought gnawed at me, consuming my thoughts and making me question everything. Last night, things came to a head. We had a small argument, and he placed his phone face down on the table. He's a mechanic, and his phones often get broken. I understood why he did it, but the old insecurities flared up, and I couldn't resist the urge to look through his phone. I'm tech-savvy, and I knew exactly where to look. I found nothing. His phone was clean. He spent over 16 years showing me that he's not the same man who betrayed me before. The first time, he got caught because he was careless. His passwords were written on a sticky note inside his phone case. Since then, he's been more cautious, and I've seen his efforts to regain my trust. Despite all this, last night was a breaking point. During our argument, I yelled that I wished I had cheated on him. His response was shocking. He told me to do it so I could move on. His words were like a knife to my heart. He stormed out, only to come back later to say goodnight to our son, and sit outside for a long time. I was left feeling conflicted and hurt. Why couldn't I move past this? Why did that movie affect me so deeply? I was tempted to make him feel the pain I had felt, but I knew that wasn't who I was. He was barely speaking to me, and I was struggling to communicate with him. The fact that he suggested I cheat and that I had even threatened to do it was tearing me apart. To make matters worse, he refused to go to marriage counseling this time. The following days were a whirlwind. I was still grappling with the emotions and confusion from our fight. My mind kept racing back to the past, and I found myself questioning everything once more. Was he still the man I thought he was, or had he reverted to his old ways? Finally, we decided to seek help. We started therapy, both couples and individual. We realized that we hadn't truly moved on from the past as much as we thought. My husband was still feeling guilty and ashamed, while I was harboring hurt and resentment. We had been bottling up our feelings, trying to protect each other's emotions, but it was clear that we needed help. During our first therapy session, things took a turn for the worse. He admitted that when I started to become suspicious a few weeks ago, he had been talking to his stepsister on his work computer. He didn't bring that computer home, which is why he had given me his phone to look through. I was devastated. I felt sick to my stomach. I demanded to see the emails and texts he had exchanged with her. When he showed me, I discovered something shocking. His stepsister has a 16-year-old son and needs him to take a DNA test along with 4 other men. The revelation hit me like a freight train. I couldn't stop crying. The therapist might suggest that we divorce, and I'm starting to agree with that idea. My intuition, which I had doubted for so long, had been right. He had been talking to her for weeks, and some of their messages were about their past together. She compared herself to me, but he seemed to shut that down. He said he was just placating her, but I didn't believe him. I felt numb and defeated. I had to kick him out. I'm continuing with therapy, but I feel like I'm done for good. The lies and broken trust have shattered me. Trust your intuition. Often the only thing that guides you through the darkest time. In the end, this betrayal has shown me how important it is to listen to your instincts and seek the truth. No matter how painful it may be, the journey of rebuilding trust is long and arduous, and sometimes, despite your best efforts, you have to accept that some wounds may never fully heal.